Before we get into this one, this is a little disclaimer. I did get a little sick, so if you hear my voice and it sounds all nasally and like this, I apologize. But I hope that doesn't subtract from the video too much, and I hope that the message is still able to get across. Alright, so what's up, gang? Check it out. Someone's gotta go check on Desiigner, bro. Like, he's obviously hurting, and personally, I think this whole situation just goes to show some of you some of the mental strain that the entertainment industry will put you through if you decide to go through it. So if you don't know, the rapper Desiigner had this whole back and forth with fellow rapper EST Gee, except EST Gee never responded to him once the whole time.
Artists try to charge me $75,000. EST Gee, bro. Yo, you're garbage. You is hot garbage. You can't perform like me. You can't never make a song like anybody in New York City. You're trash, bro. You're trash. You know what you are? That's what I'm doing right now. Shitty. You feel me? Stop playing with me. For real, for real. Y'all ain't never saw what I saw. That's on my mother. Still trap your little gold records. You a slave to the game. A lot of relationship deals, it's not even what you think it seemed to be, bro. It don't want to be that, bro. You get what I'm saying? I really be in the room with a lot of folks, man, that doing shit, holding this down. So make sure y'all really like be fans of real performance artists, people that can really take the stage from United States to the middle of Japan, bro, to out Oanaka, bro. Out, you know what I mean? Japan, bro. Military camps, bro, in Korea, bro. You think I'm saying? Let's take it down to Nairobi, bro. Let's take it to Kenya, bro. Let's take. Hey, yo, my boy, man. I'm Kizzy, man. Let's leave this shit. You know what I mean? Let's keep this shit hip hop, man. For real. Let's leave this shit up to the fans, man. Think about dropping on the same day. Let's drop on the same day. Go viral. Go crazy. Just keep this shit real hip hop culture. Word. Let's drop on the same day. Go viral, gang. Let's see. Go viral. Yes, sir. Y'all already know the vibes. Your boy Desiigner. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna just leave it like that's that man Price. You know what I'm saying? Word. No disrespect to their camp over there. You know what I'm saying? They handling their business over there. But definitely, word, looking out for unknown artists. You know what I'm saying? Looking to give y'all a nice feature. Go crazy. Keep the energy right. Keep the energy, you know what I mean, strong. We back, we going crazy. Shout out Genius. Shout out, you know what I mean, World Star. Shout out everybody, you know what I mean, that's, you know what I mean, put out my last release. Create, Riveting, Entertainment. Word, we here. We going strong. Stay tuned, new music is on the way. Heck yeah, real soon. Video, no Kizzy.
And I think I have somewhat of like a hot take, I guess. Not even a hot take, I gassed it. I kind of feel for Desiigner, right? But I can see why the general public is looking at him sideways on this situation. If you're not familiar with Desiigner, he blew up a couple years ago after his hit song Panda. The dude was on Kanye West's Good Music label or imprint, and he was even featured on his The Life of Pablo album. In his time at Good Music, he would actually go on to become an XXL freshman the same year as others like Lil Uzi Vert, Lil Yachty, 21 Savage. Like, he was hot enough to get onto that list with those artists that would go on to do extraordinary things, right? And on this XXL freshman, he previewed his next big song, Timmy Turner. But even after the Timmy Turner song would drop, it didn't quite shake the perception of being a one-hit wonder that he got after the worldwide success of Panda. So this was a guy that basically reached the peak of his fame on his first big song. That song is popular in countries I couldn't even name. If not for Panda, then Desiigner is also known for his positive, I guess you could call it, personality and the hype he would bring in person.
We in the building, baby.
And also another thing he was known for was being similar in vocal timbre to lean-soaked superstar Pluto, aka Future. And personally, I think all of that stuff, you know, like the whole being a one-hit wonder and the constant Future comparisons kind of hampered Desiigner's trajectory, right? And eventually the guy would just fall out of mainstream media's attention. I think it was also revealed from Designer's side that Kanye West and the higher ups at Good Music weren't doing too much to aid Desiigner at this point in his career. All of his Panda hype had died down, and he says because they barely called him or kept in contact with him, essentially like excommunicating the dude and not hanging out with him. Good music shelved Desiigner, and they let him sit on their roster for years, probably just benefiting off of his hit songs. So I understand what kind of circumstances led to this kind of outburst, you know. He was the EST Gee in one point in time, you know, the next up guy in the industry with promising prospects. And even though he approached the industry with a lot of positivity and whatnot, the people he looked up to and he thought had his best interests in mind didn't really look out for him in the end. It's not all of the music industry's fault, right? Like, you can make the argument that Desiigner didn't really do enough to capitalize off of the hype of a song like Panda in his XXL freshman appearance. Like, bro, that Timmy Turner song, it was not gonna do it for you, boy. I'm sorry, it wasn't. It just wasn't. What I'm trying to say is that Desiigner had his run, you know, and a lot of artists don't really get a chance to go on a second run or even like get a prolonged run for that matter. So from a business perspective, or even from like a perspective of like negotiating and leverage, it's a bit short-sighted for Desiigner, a guy that like essentially had his turn, you know, to speak down on a guy like EST Gee, who's the hot one on the come up right now, to like give him a lower price for a feature or like bargain with someone who isn't as hot as him, or would basically like need his name to make something hot, especially when Desiigner wasn't doing that shit when he was at EST Gee's point, you know, when he was at the height. Not that it would make it morally right, but still, it's not like Desiigner had this like open collaboration like policy like that. Desiigner was kind of slighted by the industry in that regard, and I can definitely see the emotional side of this. It honestly really sucks that when people cover this stuff, they don't talk about the context of it all, and you know, they're just like blaming it on Desiigner. But I think when you look at this situation in totality, it makes a lot more sense. An average rap career is like 1 to 2 years at best. That's like pretty decent. If you can make it to the 5-year mark, that's fucking great, especially nowadays, because like it's so hard to stay relevant in the current mainstream. Every 2 to 3 years, the music kind of changes and shifts, so you can't really expect the same artist to remain relevant like the whole time, especially if they're just coming up. And then you got artists like Desiigner, who I wouldn't even call like the most versatile like rapper dude either, right? It's like if Smoke Perp were to like ask NBA Youngboy for a feature. Like, I'm sure at one point in time Smoke Perp was hot, right? But at this time, nobody's checking for you, my boy. Just because you're hot at one point in time doesn't mean you get to stay in that role forever, and hip-hop is cutthroat in that regard because it's a young entertainment medium. The second you turn uncool or played out, that's when the culture stops fucking with you, and having a massive hit song is one of the fast lanes to get there. Anyways, tap in, man. Where do you guys stand on this topic? Should Desiigner just grow up and stop whining? You know, I really think Desiigner just got burned by the industry, and a little bit of that hurt and hatred leaked out, and it got on EST Gee. Like, it could have been any poppin' rapper, and I think the same result would have been had. It's just the fact that it's EST Gee makes it a little bit more fun, you know. Anyways, that's it for this episode. Let's get down in the comments. I'm gonna see you guys on the next one.